dramatic much.
Hello. Today we are going to be doing something that I debated doing. I think we might remember like the Notes app era of like poetry, and I remember people used to kind of criticize it and be like, Notes app poetry is embarrassing and it's not real poetry. I don't really agree with that. I think that a lot of great poetry can come out of the Notes app. I was really into writing Notes app poetry in 2023 when I was 16 years old, and 16 was low-key the pits. But I feel like teenagerhood is low-key the pits.
And if it's not,
it doesn't even have to do with your surroundings sometimes. Your brain is just going through so much. But anyway, I have selected a few Notes app poems that I wrote, and I'm now going to be looking back at them at 18, and I'm kind of scared. But let's get into it. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you like this video. I have more poems, so if you like this video, I can possibly make more videos. We're gonna start nice and simple. I have them on paper. We're gonna start nice and simple with a short one. And this is like classic Notes app poetry, because I feel like Notes app poetry was kind of clowned on because often the poems are like super short. And so here, this one is titled Think. And okay, let me give it a nice dramatic reading. You don't think. I don't think. We don't think. We are simply the captive audience to the never-ending movie that is our minds. Okay, so I think I was kind of writing this one because I felt like my mind wouldn't turn off, like it wouldn't shut up. And I felt like sometimes it wasn't even me thinking these thoughts. It would just be thoughts running through my head. You feel me? But I feel like if thoughts are running through your head, I'm kind of like looking back at this. Thoughts are running through your head, you're still thinking them. But maybe you're thinking them subconsciously. Like you're not purposefully thinking and catastrophizing and doing all of these things that I was doing. But you are subconsciously thinking. So I think the point now, looking back, it's not that we don't think and I don't think. The point is that our thoughts are going crazy and they're kind of out of our control. But at the end of the day, they are our thoughts. And I better think because I think, therefore I am.
Bro, stop it with the Descartes. No.
I never used to know what that meant. I think, therefore I am. But that's kind of interesting. Because if I don't think, then what is thinking? How do I exist if I don't think?
Calm down.
Anyway, let's move on to the next one. This one is a bit longer, okay? It's called Pressure. I was stressed when I wrote this one. Okay. The worst type of pressure is the pressure you give yourself. The voice in your head always telling you to keep going. Always saying that you haven't done enough. You can rationalize the voices surrounding yourself. The voices of people outside of you, by saying they don't know you, or that their expectations are far too high. Surely I cannot rationalize my voice, the voice that never stops going, never stops doubting, never stops screaming. This voice is mine, so surely it is true. I know if I'm doing enough. I know if I've tried hard enough, right? But that's the problem. The voice in my head is the loudest, the most difficult to shut up, yet it is the one that most needs to be silenced. Okay, so this is kind of like the same theme as the previous poem with just like thoughts. And just a little backstory on this poem. I was homeschooled, right? And so when I started going to regular school, if you will, I felt the need to prove myself because I low-key felt illegitimate, because people would be like, where do you go to school? And I'd be like, at home, bestie. And they'd be like, side-eye. And so when I started going to regular school, I felt the need to prove that even though I was homeschooled, I was still just as intelligent and just as capable as all of these people who had not been homeschooled. And so I put all this pressure on myself, like even in 10th grade, all this pressure, giving myself so much work. I made my workload so heavy. And it's like people had all these expectations of me because I did this to myself. I got viewed as like the smart kid or blah, blah, blah. And so I was very, very self-critical. And so I think this was just a poem reflecting on that and like people's expectations, but really I caused people to have these expectations.
So basically causing problems for yourself. That wouldn't be the first time.
I think, And I was like, well, all of these other people's voices, they're kind of annoying, but at the end of the day, it's my voice that is actually the worst. And you know what? I can't turn it off because I keep thinking. It's kind of like the previous one. There's just these thoughts that are constantly coming. And so that's what that poem was about. I feel for younger me. I really did put a lot of pressure on myself. I feel like that pressure definitely did help me to accomplish a lot of the things that I did, particularly in like school. But I don't know, like looking back, like I was little, like girl, why'd you do that to yourself? Next poem. This was actually the first notes app poem that I wrote, so it's kind of special to me in that way. It's called My Rocks, and this poem was kind of inspired by this one guy who went to like my study center or whatever, and he just seemed like this magnet, constantly attracting people, and people were drawn to him, and he was just like the guy. He was popular, if you will, or at least I saw him that way. And so I was just like in awe, because I'm like a really shy person, and so my circle's pretty close, and I don't like attract people like a magnet, and so this poem is kind of about that. But you're gonna see. My rocks. They gather friends like I gather rocks, charged magnets, attracting with invisible force. A force so strong I can't help but wonder as I walk past them, staring at their flock. I look at them as they run their course, surrounded by the lingering smiles of their folks, and wonder what it is I lack as I walk. If I smile more, will that maybe help? Or will I be greeted by a reply so coarse that I try more harder to find my flock, changing my mind to agree with their finds? Their problem is that I know the end. I've played this game before. I've cried the tears and broken my heart in an attempt to find my rocks. So I refuse to change myself to locate a family found. For if I do not stumble upon them and a love does not come forth, then perhaps they were never my rocks to gather up from forth the river that is the world. The end. Okay, so there's a few, I kind of still feel this way, like low-key, but I've accepted that that's just me, like I'm an introvert. And growing up, even nowadays, I hear people talk about like being introverted, like it's such a bad thing that like you should grow out of. And so that kind of like stressed me out, because I was like, I need to like get over being introverted. Girl, that's not gonna happen. I'm just an introvert. So that's something that's kind of changed from 16-year-old me. I'm not ashamed to say that I am an introvert. Yes, I very much am, and there's nothing wrong with that. So something like I totally get, or something that I think I was definitely onto in this piece, is where I said, or will I be greeted by a reply so coarse that I try more harder to find my flock, changing my mind to agree with their finds? One thing that I really, I guess grappled with growing up was trying to fit in, and oftentimes people would hold these views or say these things and I kind of just like agree with them or just like be silent to try and gain some sort of acceptance. And here I was like, is this what I need to do? Do I need to like change my mind to like attract people and act like a certain way that I'm not, and act like I believe things that I don't? And at the end of the day, for me, I don't really care about that anymore. If you're not going to accept me for me, the way I believe and blah, 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 then we're not meant to be friends. And so I think like I kind of just, came to that conclusion within the poem where I said, I refuse to change myself to locate a family found. Like, I'm not going to change. Maybe I would have more friends if I did change myself, if I did, act more different or blah, 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 be more palatable. I don't even know. But I was like, I'm not going to do that. And I said, if I don't find these people naturally, and I don't love them naturally, and they don't love me naturally, then I guess they were my friends to find. They weren't my people. And I stand by that. Like, I think that's a good take. If people are not going to accept you for you, they're not your people. If you have to change yourself to, locate a family found, as I said, then that's not your family. Those are not your people. And so just rest easy, because it's better to have 2 good friends than like 20, ones that really don't give a damn about you. So I stand by that. And yep. I think that one's it's not as bad. I don't know. I feel like I could improve some of these, but maybe I will, maybe I won't. Okay, this poem is about love. Crazy work. Crazy work! Unrequited love. I don't know if this poem specifically talks about it, but it talks about it. I don't want to talk, guys, I feel like kind of uncomfy talking about my personal life on here, so. That was a lot of information to get out of me. But the rest they were like about friends, pressure, the mind. Okay, another teenage classic. Love. Okay, so this one is just titled Him. Him. Okay. I was just like thinking, what if he sees this video? He doesn't know who he is. So that really wouldn't be an issue. You don't know who you are. Anyway, let me read this. No, I feel like so cringy reading this. Like I'm getting embarrassed, and okay, let's just read. I don't know if I can keep a straight face. Ah! I didn't want to write this poem because people tend to write poems about people when they no longer know them. I was denying reality, clinging onto the small chance that maybe I would know you again. Writing a poem feels permanent, but this is permanent, so treating it as such, I shall begin. From the moment I saw you, I was drawn to you. No, this isn't about some magical, fantastical love at first sight. I don't believe in love at first sight, because if you love someone at first sight, then you love their looks, not them. It was your smile, your nonchalance, and a sense of joy at the seemingly mundane that drew me to you. It was the way you managed to make me laugh after my most recent exasperating class. It was the way you felt such conviction unashamedly without pressuring others to feel the same. The way you filled the gaps in conversation like they were never there. The way you waved goodbye. The way you smiled and waved every time you saw me. I liked you a lot, and I'll leave it at that. I feel like I didn't read that well, but like I said, I feel embarrassed. This was just how I felt. At the moment of writing this, I genuinely felt this way. And it's crazy. I don't want to give away any details because like I'm paranoid. But yeah. I really liked this guy. Like he was just like amazing to me. I don't know. He's a great guy. He's a great guy. We're, friends, I guess. And yeah. He was really special to me. That's all I have to say about that. What do I see here? Anything that I want to reflect on? I feel like the beginning was a bit dramatic, but like what is 16 if not dramatic, you know? And yep.
No, because girl, the way you're low-key saying nothing.
This one raised the standards. We weren't together or anything, like I said. Unrequited! But you know what? I don't regret it at all. Like, I don't really regret any of the experiences that happened here. Maybe the depression was a little hard. What was that? But nah. Anyway, I love you guys, and let me know what you think of my poems.
No, because why so awkward? Why so awkward?
Maybe I should try writing a poem now, and we'll see what happens. But love you, like I said, and don't forget to like, subscribe, all the things.
The people heard. It's a question of whether the people will do.
And I'll see you in the next video. Also, I got new glasses. Anyway, bye-bye.